And the next presentation is held by Christine Harzer. Christine is a project manager and learning professional at the Fraunhofer Academy in Munich, so in the headquarters of the Fraunhofer Gesellschaft. And there she is, I say, in the lead of the European Battery Business Club. And now she will give us a presentation about cross-links and networks within Europe. I'm looking forward to your presentation, Christine.
Thank you very much for the nice introduction. Yes, I'm, as you just heard, I'm part of the academy team in Munich in the headquarters of Fraunhofer. What's perhaps interesting for you as well is that we have a whole group of people working on battery vocational trainings and together with the FFB. And I'm personally working out a European training and networking program, which is funded in this case by European funds, and it's called the European Battery Business Club. And I would like to share my screen with you and give you an introduction to this program. And yes, and I'm looking forward to discuss more in detail later on with you about it. So yeah, here we are, the European Battery Business Club. I would like to start right at the beginning because the start of the beginning was a market research that was conducted right before the project started and right at the beginning of the project. You heard a lot, I guess, today about the growing of the battery production in Europe, or the expected growing of the battery production in Europe. And just at the end of the last talk, we heard also about the requirements concerning skills, battery skills, as the number of battery jobs are expected to grow enormously in the coming up years and decades. And as you can see on the table here, that in the next years, let's say already in the next 8 years until 2030, it will grow from 250,000 battery-related jobs to 1.5 million, which are expected, and then even triple again up to 2050. So a huge number is expected of new jobs in the battery sector here in Europe, and therefore we really see a major skill gap that will arise. If we have a closer look on the table, we can also see that the jobs that we expect to develop, the job numbers, are differentiated along the whole supply chain. So we have the huge number, you can see it here in this dark column. These are the numbers of jobs we expect to develop in the electrical vehicle sector, so right at the end of the supply chain, but then also the other sectors like materials are really huge, but also cells and modules. What is coming up in the next, or is growing a little bit on a lower level, but still is very relevant, is also concerning materials in the raw materials, jobs in the raw materials area, but also in recycling. So definitely a need all along the supply chain to develop skills, battery skills, for the employees and the people involved in the sector. This was one thing that we saw really the research showed this huge need for a training program to develop these skills. On the other hand, we also had a look on how this program should look like. So there was one thing that we found out, that according to the changes also in the work-life balance and the need or the demand for flexibility in daily work life, there's also a need for flexibility in the training programs, and therefore the idea is here to develop a purely online training that can be done independently of the place where you stay, and also whenever you have time. So a high flexibility will be guaranteed in this training. Furthermore, as this is an area that is growing really fast, there's also a high need or a want to to have some networking opportunities. So this is something we also want to cover here with this European Battery Business Club. That's also why it's called club, because we really intend to create a community here. This will take a while, of course, but again, also with the alumni coming up, we can here create further on and on a real community for this battery field here in Europe. So also the European Union has this topic on his agenda, and therefore this project is sponsored by EIT Raw Materials, which is then funded again by the European Union. So really with a high political impact also this topic, and therefore it was set up also on an international level in this case. Fraunhofer is here with the academy in the lead, so we are coordinating, or in this case me and my colleagues are coordinating the project. We have 5 different institutes, Fraunhofer institutes, which are specialized in or working and developing and researching in the battery field. They are developing the content together with 2 universities, 2 leading universities in Europe. We have Uppsala University from Sweden, and we have Ljubljana University from Slovenia, also to cover here different parts of Europe directly during the development process. What's interesting for you, I guess, as well, we are now in the development stage, so we are developing the content right now. Next year we will go into the pilot phase, and then from 2024 on, the program will be running. So what is the program really about? I just mentioned some bits and pieces, going a bit more into detail. It's a lifelong learning program. So it's for professionals, and it covers, on the one hand side, the cutting edge knowledge. Why? Because we combine the applied research, the knowledge of the Applied Research Institute Fraunhofer with the ones of leading universities here in Europe. But we have also industry partners, with main industry partners that we integrate, that we incorporate in our content with use cases, with expert talks. So we try to cover really the whole relevant stakeholders here, and all the curriculum, as I just mentioned at the beginning, is based on identify industry needs from one hand side, from the industry research, from the market research, but then also because of the cooperation with the industry partners that are also in the advisory board and supporting us here in the development. Secondly, we will work out this networking character of the club. We will have a networking platform, which is at the same time also the learning management platform. Here we would like, next to the training program, establish an online forum, and we will have also live events. These will be mostly online. This is also due to the fact that people are very much spread out, or we expect people to be very much spread out over Europe. And then we will also later on hope to have some live workshops as the program is running and furthermore developing. Again, the aspect of self-directed learning, I just mentioned it before, that was also something that came out in the market research, that people would like to be flexible to decide when they want to learn, how they want to learn, but they are also flexible on what they want to learn exactly. I will cover that in a minute. But what is important is it's self-direct because it's mainly asynchronous. So it's a little bit like having a Netflix account. We will have an annual subscription fee, and during this year our participants can learn whenever they have time and also in the speed they want to learn. So this is really like a streaming online training. The advantage of this model is also that it's pretty easily scalable, so we can really scale it up and enroll many people in the learning management platform, which of course is our goal and aim, and we hope to achieve it, and therefore then create pretty fast a European-wide battery learning and networking ecosystem. Going a bit more into detail, who is our target group? So it's a vocational training, and it's definitely addressed to professionals. So it's not addressed to academics, but really to professionals that have already been working in a technical surrounding. It could be managers or experts. They don't need to necessarily have worked already in the battery field, because it's really dedicated also to people who are forced or interested to change their professional career. For instance, if they have been working in combustion engines in the automotive area, that they are now forced to change their career path and go more into batteries, or if they're really interested in it, then this program is the right thing to really start working with batteries, getting into it and getting first skill up, getting the first skilling up here during this program. Sorry, as I just said, so there will be a subscription for 1 year. And during this year, people can, or participants can learn in a modular and quite convenient way, and also use this platform as a networking platform to discuss in the forum or in events together with other interested people or experts from the battery field. Coming to the content, we have had the idea to split it up, also to guarantee here the flexibility. All participants that want to acquire a certificate have to go through the introductory modules and also pass them via a small exam and test. Then the main part of the learning training, or the training, will be split up in 3 tracks, again built up again along the battery value chain. So our participants can then decide if they want to cover all 3 aspects: material, cell production, and dismantling and recycling, or if they rather focus on one only. So that would also be possible. Here you already can see, we mentioned the use cases. We have 3 main industry partners that I can easily mention here at this stage already. So we have, for track 1, we have Heraeus as main industry partner. He's giving us, or this industry partner is giving us feedback concerning the content that we developed. But then we have also use cases and some information into that we will present during the training program. For track 2, it's ACC, and for track 3, Renault. So these are our 3 main industry partners that will provide us with input concerning industry insights. In the middle of the graphic, you also see and have a glance on our formats. The big challenge of the program will be to keep it, especially as it's only asynchronous or mainly asynchronous, to keep people motivated, to keep them active. So the big challenge is to make the program very split up in small pieces, learning pieces that are very innovative, very somehow entertaining, and keeping people motivated and also interactive. So we will have videos and podcasts, but then also interactive graphs, interactive videos, lots of quizzes at different points of the training. And then we will have, at the end of each module and track, there will be a small, also online exam. And only if you pass, or the participant passes this exams, he will get a certificate in the end. Concerning the content, so we have these 2 introductory modules. First, we have give a glance into the battery cosmos. This means We will have a look on how the battery industry is developing, how is the market developing, which are the major challenges and opportunities to give, as we heard just before, or to give the basic to decide also on business opportunities and give a good background. Secondly, also in the introductory and mandatory modules is the digital mindset as the data analysis and also the different digital advice background is so very much crucial for working in batteries that we decided to make this really part of this introduction mandatory aspects. Later on, I don't need to, I think you are all really very much experts in the battery sector, much more than me. So later on, we have these 3 tracks and they are split up in these 3 different aspects that we want to cover. So the first one will be battery materials, having a look at advantages and limitations and the different aspects that choosing one or the other materials will face. Perhaps one thing that we also kept in mind and what also came out when we were doing the market research is that we try always to connect the technical aspects also with the economical sides. As we have also the managers as target group, we really try to incorporate most as often as possible the economic aspects depending on which materials or technologies are used. So this will be covered in all different tracks. So the next sort of start will be battery materials, of course, at the beginning of the supply chain. Then we have the whole manufacturing, the cell manufacturing, the whole process chain. And then last but not least, the big topic, dismantling and recycling. Here we got the feedback, the first feedback also here from our main industry partners that there's a big need of not only covering the topic of recycling and first life, but also second life seems to be a big topic. So we focus a bit more on that also. And as I just mentioned, our participants can decide if they want to go through all 3 tracks or if they need to get very fast their knowledge and want to focus on one. That's also possible. That's just shown then at the end in the certificate so that everybody who has a look at the certificate gets a clear picture which knowledge has been acquired in the training program. So then I'll just at last glance again on the key facts. Our battery business club is developing in close cooperation between different Fraunhofer institutes. So we have applied research institutes here combined with the knowledge of industries and of the universities and of industry partners. So we really try to take everybody or take the knowledge from different sides incorporate that in our curricula. So this is the first aspect. The second is that we also try or that we incorporate furthermore the up-to-date learning, psychology and pedagogy knowledge into our program as we try to set up or as we are setting up a very innovative program based on a modern learning management system with asynchronous and small learning nuggets to provide this flexibility for everybody who is interested in our program. So the basis is really this modern learning management platform, but it's not only a learning management platform, but it's also a networking platform. And as we just said, of course, this is something that will develop. We will have at the beginning a small group of people, a small community, but as the program will develop further and further, we will of course have more alumni and more interested people and then create an even bigger network. So that's the aim also of the Battery Business Club, to really create a European learning community for the battery field. We try to keep the idea is always to, even if it's an asynchronous meeting, that we are up to date, that we according to the current market needs, the current market changes, and the industry input, that we can quickly address these changes in our online program and state it up so that we always offer the best added value for everybody who is interested in our program and interested in the battery, working in the battery field. Yeah, that's all from my side for the presentation, and I'm really happy to answer your questions, or if you have some comments, some ideas, I'm really happy to hear it from you.
Thank you, Christine, for the nice presentation about the EBBC. I have one question, and the question is where to enroll?
It's not, well, later on you will be able to enroll directly on the learning management platform. And for the moment, we will see it's not worked out finally, as it will only be possible to enroll from 24 on.
Okay,
so, but perhaps it's a good question, because we are all, looking for lead users for the pilot training. So if anybody is interested, I can post my email address. So if there's some interest in sending people to us for the pilot training, that would be very good for us, and perhaps also for you to get some first insights.
Yeah, sounds good. If anybody's interested in being some kind of pilot student, just let us know. So there is also,
I don't know, is it?
Do you have a website, please? Is another question from Niall. But is there already a website, Christine?
Not yet. This is something we are working on. It's not yet prepared, but that will be during the next year. We will do that parallel to the development of the pilot trainings. We will also set up the whole communication aspects, including, of course, the website.
Maybe you can post your contact details within the chat
that
the participants can get in touch with you directly. And even though there is no website at the moment, there are the contact details already changed, and the people get to know each other.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. I will do that.
Thank you very much. Any further questions?